Alright y'all, we got the cam out, we got the lifter caps off. All the bolts cracked loose real good. I went basically crack, like just, you know, crack, teeny bit more. Just worked my way until all of these were loose, but this one is gummed up and I've only been able to spin it probably halfway. So I've been working it back and forth. I'm using my PB blaster, whatever else you have, throw at it. I'm gonna pull out this arrow coil, and I want to slow down. I've been going too fast in this, and I've been breaking stuff, just like that lifter cap. It's a little bit much, but so I want to just let this sit overnight, and I don't want to have to helicoil the block or anything like that. I just want to be able to get this out. I'm wondering, since this bolt is all gummed up, maybe this is my problem area, maybe. But I miss how the arrow coil smells. I used to use this way back in the day, back in 1895. As you can see in this Subaru block, there's so many little access points. Not that. Oh yeah, that is an access point. This is the oil galley, so you can pull these out to clean. It's really, they did a phenomenal job, but and it's a cast piece of aluminum, so. You know, if anything ever got gummed up in there, you'd have to have access points to be able to clean things out. But I wanted to have this off by tonight, but I'll get the rest of it off tomorrow. There's no way. I'm not going to force it. I know if I put an impact on there, it may actually come out nice and clean, but it may just pull metal with it. I don't know. I think, yeah, this is an aluminum block, so at the very least, it would just rip up the threads. And I probably could put in fact, it wouldn't be a helicoil. It's the other one. I can't remember the name for it that you have to do for head bolts. I haven't thought of that in years, to be honest with you. And for those of you know, if I haven't mentioned this, I don't do these day-to-day mechanics anymore. I used to for about 10 to 15 years. And my wife and I own Happy Hearts Pet Care up here in Alaska. And this is my daily driver that I'm fixing. So, but I can't remember what it was, but it's a beefier version of a helicoil. And then, anyways, guys, I'm going to hang it up for the night, get inside, and just turned midnight. It's a Saturday, February 3rd, something like that. February 4th now that it's Sunday. But, all right, guys, over and out. All right, y'all, finally got this bolt out. I was able to work it out slowly but surely over a few days. I would turn it a few times and then spray some penetrant lube in there. I don't know how well you can see, but basically I do see evidence of some of the threads in the block. Sorry, let me get this to work here. Sorry guys, not wanting to. There you go. So you can see the aluminum right there in the first couple threads. Just filling up the whole section there. So I know the very bottom of these threads, so it goes all the way down. And it's pulling on the very bottom, obviously collectively, so I'm gonna have to address that. Definitely, the bolt's sort of rusty-ish. I'm not sure what's been happening. I didn't see any super obvious signs of oil getting through the head gasket somewhere. I'm hoping it's not anything in this lower block. I'll still have to look at that. I mean, if I need to, I can take the block apart, but I really don't want to. But I do want to fix the actual issue that I'm, sorry for the terrible video, fix the actual issue. So I got to call some guys that know Subarus really well. Obviously, we've got coolant going through here. So inside these two passages are what I need to figure out, because there's no other coolant besides at the water pump, these two guys, and obviously this seam here. So, for instance, if coolant, and again, this is the oil where the oil dumps back into the block, I believe. So it would be this little line here, like I mentioned before. but I'm not exactly sure yet. I want to talk to some people and find out from experience, you know, what's going on. So, and in other news, I got to get this Corvette pulled out and parked. My plow blade frame broke, so I've got to get the truck in here to melt down. And thankfully, I have a dad who knows how to weld, and he's fixed a bunch of heavy equipment, so we should be able to fix it. It's a pretty bad spot. It's obviously a part of the frame that has a pretty bad break. We're gonna film that, but for now I gotta get this battery charged. I gotta fill up this tire. I gotta fill up all the tires. Yeah, that sucker. And then hopefully I didn't get a chance to plow our lot. In fact, let's just go outside here. Show you. So here's the truck here. First of all, you can see how wobbly it is, but you see right there where it's supposed to be connected, right there. You see the other side. So we're gonna get it, and I gotta basically shovel all the snow out of the back first. I just got done taking care of our roof again. We've had over 100 inches of snow this year, and we got a lot of ice dams, and just figuring everything out. But I do have to shovel this out, so I think I'm gonna get the battery charger on the Corvette, air up the tires, shovel out this snow, and if I'm slick, I can get this thing in by tonight, which I really want to, so it can start melting down. Hopefully we can work on it tomorrow. But as you can see, we're filling up in here. We got vehicles just everywhere, so it's praying that all goes well and I'm able to fix this. I really miss driving this thing. As pain in the butt as the manual transmission is, so much nicer in that Jeep just to drive around in. It's faster, gets better gas mileage, so I'm not complaining. I'm thankful I've got a vehicle, but I really want to get going on this. I've had so much other stuff going on, but so we've got everything, at least a part that finally only took 3 weeks. But again, we've been busy with so much other stuff. But yeah, guys, let me get this show on the road. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry for the blurry. All right, guys and gals, back on the Subaru. I've got the piston heads cleaned up. What I did is I raised each one to top dead center and used some carb clean and a brass brush. I've also brass brushed the major stuff. Before I did that, I razor bladed everything. I am going to get some sort of block sander so I can sort of plane this surface sort of as a finish. I'm going to look into replacing these because I'm going to need to get them out. I'll probably mangle them up. But my goal here next is to get these out, make sure I can find replacements, and then do a nice block sand, and then get my straight edge feeler gauge because I already know there's some gap, there's some unevenness here. So got that going. Same thing on this side. Got our pistons. That's my light that's on. That's causing that weird thing. Anyway, so my last big effort here is to make sure we clean up this gasket surface and make sure it's within spec. So I need to look that up. I need to make an attempt at doing my final cleaning, and then we're gonna do a feeler gauge check. One thing I'm not too sure of is my straight edge. I'm gonna need to get, you want to use a machinist straight edge, which is a, obviously it's checked out and it's straight. This is probably pretty straight, but who knows? So you don't want to guess on this stuff. So get the right tools. Anyways, guys, didn't film too much of the cleaning process. I'm also cleaning my coolant reservoir. I did get a new cap. That cap is absolutely toast. And in a perfect world, I just get a new reservoir. But we're already over budget on this one, if you will. So, all right, y'all. One ting at a time. Yeah. All right, guys and gals, we are back on the Subaru. I'm cleaning the block surface. I'm just doing very light sanding right now. One warning, you would probably better off have this block basically facing down. That way all of the debris and little things that are coming off, which are very minuscule in what I'm doing, are going to be exiting and not going in. I do plan on basically flushing out the oil galleys, getting the oil pan clear. There's a small chance I might even replace this oil pan. I probably should. And at the end of the day, it's like I'm already... You probably would want to just completely rebuild this engine. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my best. I've got the heads back, of course, they're machined. I've got the threads all cleaned up. I've got my straight edge here. It's not the best straight edge. I did check it on the cylinder head for flatness. And on this model, I think on most Subarus, they require basically 0.0014 as the minimum spec on the heads, and I believe the block side. And so what I've already done on the heads is double checked flatness by basically setting my straight edge. Obviously this is the block, but I did this on the head just to make sure everything was kosher. And I can just barely get the, of course now it's wobbling. I'm gonna make sure it's just completely flat here. And I still have some sanding to do. I'm gonna try to hold it nice and square. It wants to go under there just a tad. The edges are good. So, and what I know for sure is that my cylinder walls are for sure the low spot. And it's literally, we're talking about thousandths of an inch. So I'm trying to sand the outer edges, avoiding my cylinder walls. And of course I did a first cleanup with the razor blade and a light brass brush, not digging in because brass is harder than aluminum. I've got some 400 grit sandpaper. I had an idea to get a longer thing, but the thing I chose, none of the sandpaper fits it. So I'm having to use this thing. And what I'm doing is basically just, there's no sandpaper on it right now, but I'm basically just hitting the edges, kind of going as uniformly as I can. And I'm literally looking for, like, I know right here we're a lot better than we were. Still we're not doing good there. I found out that this block definitely had plenty of, look at that, it's completely underneath it. Yeah, see, that's not good. So I'm trying my best to actually make a difference here, but it's not, I'm not really able to take enough material off. And the problem is I'm doing it unevenly too. So I think I'm gonna stop right now. I got even more clearance under that. Like I said, I know the high spots, I don't know if you can see this, but this is the outer casting, and I've got it bridging across the cylinder walls and the outer edge of the casting. Bumping in there. Definitely underneath there. Not too bad right there. So I know that I have a high spot here. And then right here where on the outer edge, definitely isn't going anywhere. This, dragging a teeny bit. This one bumps into it, and this one bumps into it. So I think over here I still have a high spot. And my trouble here is I wanted to pull these out, and I know I can, but they're gonna get destroyed if I do. And the perfect world would be a nice flat piece of glass or something that you know is flat. Get a full sheet of sandpaper and do one of these numbers, you know, where you're just, but still that's not as good as, you know, taking this all apart and having it machined. But problem is you want to be careful to not remove too much material, because you're already dealing with very tight specifications with the interference, you know, heads where the valves can actually hit the cylinder. So I'm just trying to make some progress. It's Saturday. I put out some feelers on some information. And I'm just basically, like I said, going around My outer edges is definitely flat. Let me go into my cylinder walls here and see what I'm looking at here. Just wanting to get underneath there. I can definitely slide it. It's dragging a teeny bit. That's a low spot, and I have to be really careful here. So, long story short, I need to be very, very careful here. I guarantee I probably could put it back together and it'd probably get a good couple years out of it, maybe more. But I plan on driving this quite a while, so, or who knows what I'll do. But the problem with my method here is that you're creating more low spots around by not having a uniform sanding. So I think I'm gonna have to figure out a way to remove these and properly sort of plain sand this. That way I know I'm getting an even amount of material, and I can even use that bluing stuff to where you can immediately see. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, guys, but I just wanted to record this little snippet. I've got as much as I can done that I'm comfortable with doing. Like I said, if this was a backyard thing and I wasn't worried about it, honestly, I would clean this up, throw it back together, and I don't want to halfway it this far in. And again, I'm probably going to replace the rear seal and address that down here. Basically get that stuff replaced at least there. In a perfect world, I would remove the oil pan because now is the perfect time to change it. Reason being, I can flip it upside down and it won't be dripping for a million years. Because if you do it on vehicle, there's no gasket for this. You use a hardened silicone, Honda Bond, I think it's called, or whatever it is. Excuse me. So the perfect time to do the oil pan is right now. So we'll see, guys. I want to make sure I do this thing right. I do want to start driving it as soon as I can. But I think I'm going to clean up and sort of... let me at least show you this on the head. Basically, this will give you a good indication. And of course, with the... I did get these, machined. So I know these are for sure flat. And I'll show you really quick. And again, I'm not too happy with my straight edge, but we know we're flat here. Get a better shot for you guys here. Okay, so basically we got our 0.0015 and it's bumping in. And then of course you want to do that here. Let's check this one. For it to stop moving. And it's bumping into it. So I know my head is good and I know that my straight edge is straight. So, and again, in a perfect world, I'd remove these little thingies and get after it. I need to make sure I can get new ones first before I rip them out of there. So that's why I'm sort of holding off. But, and then I'm pretty sure if I get a nice big something flat and do this, I think I'd be able to get a nice even and just, bring these edges down. And I think if I did some bluing, I'd be able to actually visually see what's going on. But I'm going to talk to the dealer on Monday, do some more research. There's other things I could do. In the meantime, I could probably clean all these parts up, all the parts that I'm not going to replace. But we shall see. There's plenty of other stuff to do always. So over and out, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We are slowly getting this thing done. Over and out. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are finally back on the Subaru. I made a nice little setup that is perfect for planing the block surface or the deck. It took some figuring out. Last segment in the video, you saw me trying this. I don't know how much I filmed of that. It just wasn't working because I wasn't able to get everything evenly. So, worthy try. But I ended up getting a white version of this. I did not use this heavily. You don't want to do that. But it is the only version of the roll lock that is safe for aluminum. its lightest setting. But what I got here is a nice piece of furniture wood sold at Home Depot. It's basically it was a I got there's the other section of it there. It was sold just like that. Here's the label, in fact. Whoops. And basically, as you can see on this side here is relatively nice. It's made for furniture, so it's relatively straight. So I have a nice straight piece of plywood. Then I bought one of these at Home Depot. So I got my little return pile going here. Let me flip this over here. I got one of these. Not quite as thick as I had wanted, but this is a nice flat piece of glass. Whoops, sorry. I didn't say sorry. I said sorry to myself. I thought I was gonna break that sucker. Anyway, I'm being ridiculous. Here we go. Then I don't need 220 on this. That's a little bit much, I'm finding. I started with 320, then finishing with 400, and it's just perfect. And what I did as well is after I glued, so what I did is I glued this on this piece of glass here. And if you can see, underneath here is this double stick tape that works extremely well. First of all, this brand is excellent because it's already sort of grippy on the back. But get yourself some of this stuff here. And I literally could peel one on and put one on there. But as you can see, here's the piece of glass. I just siliconed it on there, and it worked perfect. I got myself some gloves. I'll basically, I'm not going to do it because I just finished. Of course, I'd be wearing gloves because these glass edges are sharp. And then it works really good with just sort of one of these motions. I even did a full 360. The sandpaper is actually holding and not catching, but it's really just this, nice and flat, nice and flat, nice and flat. Went to 320, measured, went to the 400, and I'm finally measuring. So let's try to zoom in here if I can. And I am measuring with a straight edge from one of the rulers with the little adjustable dealy bobber. I have one side here that's particularly good. And I'm using the smallest. Rumor has it, Subaru calls for 0.0014. I don't know, that's at least on the head. But as we can see here, I'm just trying it. We bumping in, bumping. These are my trouble spots before. I'm riding on the ridge of the outer casting. If I can get it to balance. What I end up having to do is hold it. And then I want to go right on that lip. Right on the lip of this. So across here, because I want to make sure this is level with this. I hope you can see my fingers there. So I ended up holding it nice and flat. And all right, it just wants to pinch in. That one's still I'm not quite satisfied with that, but honestly guys, I am splitting hairs here at this point. This is nice and solid. I gotta make sure this straight edge is not the best, to be honest. This thing is not. All right. That goes in. Wait, no, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm holding now. So it's just, honestly, this straight edge is not the best. Guys, I'm just gonna call it there. I'm like splitting hairs. I could do another hit. Almost wants to pinch under there. Okay, go here, and they sell better straight edges. The machinist ones are relatively expensive. That's good. Okay, not sure how zoomed in we are here. Of course, I'm probably blocking it with my arms here. Okay, so we're gonna go. I did this. Let me do this. I wish this would balance here, but it's just not wanting to. This engine stand is has a little bit of a thing to it. That's just barely. I mean, okay, good there. We go across here. Whoops. Trying to make sure my hands aren't in the way. And what I was finding, I'm sure I've said it before, is the cylinder walls were the low spot. And of course, if the cylinder walls are the low spot, well, guess where the head gasket is gonna fail first. So I'm coming at it from the across these oil galleys. This is what I've been doing the past couple weeks. I've been really busy actually, so I haven't had a lot of time to work on it. But I finally figured out kind of my setup. I went snowmobiling or snow machining as we call it up here. There we go, let me see here. Last weekend, basically the last weekend, it's really good riding and not too much. That's sort of a high spot there. It does not feel that great. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it. The only spot that I could find, again, was right here. And try to make it to where it stands up on its own here. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna call it, guys. Guys, we're done with this head finally. And that's a little bit. We're good. All right, guys. Woo! So, the heads have been professionally machined. We did a backyard machining on the block. I think that's why, even though the guy did the head gaskets on this, I don't know how, maybe a year before he sold it to me, I really don't know. But I guarantee the block probably, who knows if he had the heads who knows, you just never know. But you gotta pay attention to the block. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it over, do the other side, and then, like I mentioned before, I am going to remove the oil pan simply because, and I'll probably clean the outside of the block before I remove the oil pan just because I'm already this far. Remove the oil pan so I could really make sure I got all the little shavings and stuff out of there. Try to fix the dent that's on it. And then, of course, reattach the oil pan with the block upside down. Because, of course, if you end up doing the oil pan what's in the vehicle, it's, you know, you got oil constantly dripping. And it uses a silicone. So, whew, I feel really good about that. I think what I'm going to do is flip it over. I'm going to actually probably start. There's plenty of life left on this sandpaper, it feels like. I lubricated with WD-40. I should have done that. I should have done that from the very beginning because I've just been burning up sandpaper left and right. But finally figured out a way to do it. And we are going to reset and get after it for this other side. And of course I did take the motor mount off for so I can have a nice level playing field. I'm hoping the other side will give me the same. It looks like I'm gonna have to remove this coolant hose to some degree. So we're gonna get reset, guys. Whew, man, what an ordeal. All right, y'all, I just got the side flipped over, and this side's gonna go so fast, it's gonna be hilarious, actually. I'm using a level on this side this time. I didn't use a level last time, I should have. And it's gonna be sloping a little bit this way because of the engine stand, but at least I'll have a horizontal what have you. And then these are just 10 mils. To get these out, I gotta go inside to get my DeWalt, whatever, I forget what they're called, automatic, etc. Just my ratcheting drill or whatever you call it. And so, and of course, we'll remove the dowels, get this off. I'm gonna film this, and then I'm gonna get this motor mount off. I got everything set out. Let me shut off, get the air compressor charged up, and then we will continue on here and go ahead and just get this, what do we got here? The driver's side done. All right, y'all, we'll switch down to the 220 instead of starting with the 320. I did do quite a bit of sanding on the other block before I switched to this plain method. But the low spots again are these cylinder walls, so you can see that the outer edges here are looking nice, and obviously it's 220. I'm gonna go 320, then 400. But I'm gonna keep going until I see this middle part beginning to get affected, and so I've definitely got a little bit of ways to go. So we're gonna keep at it, and we'll see what happens here. All right, y'all, I switched to a new sheet of 220, and as you can see, our spots here are getting smaller and smaller. We continue to have a low spot in the cylinder wall areas. I suppose it makes sense. And but yeah, I'm very, very satisfied with how it's looking. These are slowly disappearing. I'm not even worried. It's not even deep. On the other side there was actually a sort of a deep dip, and I could feel that with my nail. So we'll take care of that. We're gonna get it all the way down, and then this is the new sheet. It's some WD-40 on there. It has plenty of moisture on it, and we're just gonna keep on going. I'll do it for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'll stop for a little bit, give myself a rest. And as you can see, it's definitely coming along right there. It's disappearing into evenness, and I can't be more thrilled. Seriously, guys, this was a tough one to figure out. Couldn't quite get the right advice out there. I did, but you know, you just never know. I don't want to have to take this apart. Like, this has to go back together. I wanted to do it right, and I'm very happy with the evenness coming along. We're going to keep going.